YouTube, and welcome to the OnePride podcast. We talk all things Detroit Lions news and rumors. As you know, my back is really not doing good, so I'm learning to switch it up. I'm putting my setup to where I'm standing now. So just bear with me for the next couple of days, as I can't do a live stream anymore without sitting. My back is just too messed up to do it, and I have not live streamed in 2 weeks, so I feel really bad. So we're going to try doing this standing up for about an hour and see how well it goes. I got to get the setup really quick to show that I got to see your comments. There we go. Now I can see your comments up. Switching it up when you're standing is a little bit different than sitting, so bear with me. I'm going to read your comments, and I obviously will be not looking at the camera at the minute. So Brent DeWitt says, OnePride. What up, Doe? The Hood Smokers podcast was on his live stream yesterday. Check him out, man. Repping Detroit, and we love... Man, we love real. We love keeping it a buck, right? So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. As we know, Frank Ragnow retired, so we'll talk a little bit about that. I'm sure you guys got questions on that. I'm sure you got to talk about what I expect for the season now going forward. Za'Darius Smith rumors is good rumors. See, we have some bad news, and we get some good news. Bad news is Frank. And then good news is Za'Darius. What up, Doe? Kurt, appreciate you in the building, man. It's been tough the last couple of weeks. Have to stand up at this point. Can't sit anymore, especially in this chair. It just hurts way too much. So switching up my routine to somehow get everything to stand up. But right now I just took a thing to put a table up here so I can use my mouse. But definitely old school in it right now. I don't got one of those desks that lift you up. I should get one of those. I only have a guy right now. But so we got some good news there about, Za'Darius Smith. At least he wants to come back to Detroit. And we want him to come back to the Detroit Lions. 100%. Is it still MVP golf, though? Hey, it all really depends. So I'll get to your question here in a second. That's a great question. It's going to transition to that. Frank Ragnow retirement is going to affect a lot. Now, what can Tate Ratledge do? Can he come in there and produce center? Is it going to be Graham Glasgow coming in there, the veteran, because he is a rookie? It's going to hurt the production of Jared Goff. This is 100%. It's going to hurt the Lions offense. You lose an all-pro in Frank Ragnow. I'm sorry, that's going to hurt. That's just the way it is. But I've talked about this offseason. How many times have I said this, folks? What if there's injuries to the offense before the season starts? Or what if, a player goes down? Well, we can kind of put that now with Frank Ragnow, right? Yeah, he's not coming back. He's retired. But he went down. He's not going to be there for the season. So we can act kind of like he went down for an injury for the whole year. So what can the Lions do now to get that center position squared away for Tate Ratledge? We got to have Hank Fraley. He's got to teach this guy everything he knows, Graham Glasgow. But I do got memberships on the channel, Lego Art. You can go ahead, and if you want to become a member, you can become a member for sure. You just got to hit the join button. Said we should be running the ball 30 times more next year. No, I 100% agree. But again, losing Frank Ragnow is going to hurt your run game. It is. It's a good run blocker. So can these guys combination come in there and fill the hole for Frank Ragnow? I'm going to tell you, I actually, when he retired, let me get my drink here. When he retired, I was extremely concerned. But I got high expectations of Tate Ratledge. Here's the thing when it comes to the offensive line and injuries and what potentially could happen this season. I've already given the idea that the Lions they're taking a step back, right? Doesn't mean it's a bad thing. The reason I think I'm not as worried as I think I would be, generally speaking, I fully expect by the end of the season, not only is the offense going to be gelled, but if Ratledge is the center, he'll have already had 17 games experience to kind of have an idea of what's going for the playoffs. See, I'm not worried about how many wins we have this year. No, I don't care about that. I don't. It's cool to talk about. Cool. It's not even really about winning the division. Yes, we want to win the division. That should be the number one goal. The short-term goal, right? Win the division. If we get it as a wild card, okay. Whatever. It's about getting to the Super Bowl, winning in the playoffs. That's it. 2 years ago, we went to San Francisco and nearly won. So if we're a wild card, I think we can go on the road. I think Ratledge will be good by then. What if, I just seen a super chat. What if, we're 10 wins right this year. Say we get 10 wins. Doesn't really matter. Why did that? See, this is why everything is messed up. Let me get this stuff here. This is what happens when, let me get there we go. This side here. Thank you for that super chat. I got says from the Los Angeles, $1.99. Thank you. God bless you. Says, what's the chances of Big Z coming back? The Los Angeles, great time to ask such a question, because I have a pretty decent answer for you. Thank you to Za'Darius Smith. Well, Za'Darius Smith was at the BET Awards this weekend. They asked him, want to come back to Detroit? They asked him yesterday, what about a contract? He said, I want to come back to Detroit, and we'll get the contract figured out. Folks, Za'Darius Smith says it's going to happen relatively soon. He's come back to the Detroit Lions. That's what Za'Darius Smith says. Doesn't mean that's what's going to happen, right? You got to have Brad Holmes and the Detroit Lions want to bring him back. But it really does sound like he's coming back. Za'Darius Smith, that would be a huge boost. Yes, we lose Frank Ragnow, and that sucks. It's an all-pro center. But if you were to get an addition of Za'Darius Smith, that's huge. It's you lose one, but you're gaining another, and it's not the same type of production. You got an all-pro in Frank Ragnow. But let me ask you guys questions, and I think a lot of you will say yes to this. Who do you think is the best coach for the offensive line in all of football? I think the best coach in all of football for the offensive line, and no doubt, and he's probably one of the best coaches in football in general, is Hank Fraley. I do think that's the truth. I think he is, and I think that he can, it may be rough initially, but I think he can get Ratledge, Mahogany, Graham, whoever is all the combination, the offensive line squared away by the playoffs. Lego Art, the first super chat of the stream is a W type of one. Yes, and the Los Angeles, God bless you. Thank you so much for that. But I think a lot of you would say that, that would be a huge addition. So it sounds like he could be coming back, and that's a huge thing. Tampa Bay made the Super Bowl 12-5. Yeah, look, it's not about the wins. We love the wins. I think 15-2 is an amazing year. But did we win a playoff game? The answer is no. So what was the better year? Last year or one where we almost got to the Super Bowl? Well, I think last year's team was absolutely better than the team before. But one team nearly got to the Super Bowl. The other one didn't get close. I'm based for Hinckley, but Philly has a great offensive line coach. Yes, he is. He's a great offensive line. Yes, the Philadelphia Eagles, that organization, they know what they're doing. Okay, so they're super high speed. They lose their center, and it's like, well, can we lose Kelsey? We'll just get another one, win the Super Bowl. So, I mean, the Lions will get it figured out. It is a punch in the gut, but the Lions will 100% get figured out. If you got questions, today is about answers today. Let me see if I can get my Q&A scene up there for you. See, I'm so unprepared because, I switch all this stuff up. And I'm going a little early because I got to take my daughter to a swim or birthday party or something. All right, let me get this on here for you guys. Let me switch up my head. Giving you my head back. There we go. All right, it says, Ennis been getting some high praise. High praise, 100%, and he deserves the high praise. Folks, Ennis Rakestraw was a great pick last year. And I had him in my mock drafts last year. I thought he was a late first-round pick, early second-round pick. We get him in the second round. Very talented. I thought he was a top 5 corner in the draft. He just had injuries. Now they're putting him on the outside. They believe that that's where he's best at. They believe DJ Reed can play in the slot. Obviously, Amik can do that as well. But Ennis is having a phenomenal camp. It was just injuries for him. So it was a great draft pick. A lot of people forget about Ennis, and that's the player that there's a couple players in this on this football team that really could change the trajectory of the season. He's one of those, right? If he comes out, he's healthy. That's a huge boost for the secondary. We already got a lot of talented players on there, so that would just make it even better. It'd help out for some of the loss that we had, right? So if he can come out there and be the way that we expect him to be, the Lions defense could be much better. Let's see. Ooh, and a super chat. $4.99 from the Los Angeles. The Los Angeles is on fire. Thank you so much, my friend. Says, I think that Tate Ratledge will fill the shoes well, and the Frank loss won't be noticed much over time. Maybe by the end of the year, he will be good. That's kind of what I wouldn't say they want to, forget about Frank or anything like that, but I do think that by the end of the year, the transition will be a lot less, like you're saying. I agree with you. He'll be able to know the plays a little bit more. He can help out Jared Goff on calling out some defenses. Remember, that's what a center does as well, and gives him. So I think I agree with you 100%. It'll be a little bit shaky in the beginning. It's going to be shaky. He's a rookie playing a position he's not familiar with. He just started. So, but again, if he's not ready, Grant Glasgow will be the guy. They got a guy that can play center right now and help out Jared Goff immediately. So if he's not ready, he's not going to be ready. So, but when he is ready, if Hank puts him in that position, I think we all should have pretty high expectations for him. Don't rip on him if he messes up a little bit here and there. But I think that I agree with you, can really take that next step. By the end of the year, really be looking pretty good. We got Brent says, #FDeBears. Hearing a lot of talk about next year restructuring Goff's contract. What could those figures look like? They could definitely restructure. I think it was $69 million. They said it's a little bit too high. But the Lions, I know that their cap is a little bit wonky right now for 2026, but I'm not worried about it at all. First off, Frank did retire, and that's going to give the Lions money. I know that's not good, but honestly, with that retirement, it makes it the Lions probably can get J-Mo back, right? And so, again, you lose players, and you got to pick players up in the draft to replace. Now, it may not be generally that position, but you got to be able to replace that production. What could it look like? They could reduce it to $20 million or something like that and convert it into a bonus. That's generally how players do that. They'll figure it out. He says, "Don't sleep on Kingsley. He was on by board last year. He was on your board last year. Okay, yeah, Kingsley Aguakin, Lions' other center player. I'm not worried if he does great. If he doesn't, I don't really, I'm not gonna worry about it. He's a developmental player. Let him develop. They do have players to learn. They picked up that free agent as well, so I still think it's gonna be Graham or Tate 100%. It could be Graham starting Tate or just Tate right off rip. All right, let's see. Do you think there is a chance of Ennis beats out Terrion for CB one spot? No, there's no chance for that. Right now, it's not happening. Terrion Arnold developed. He got better, and better. And we got to give him his props. I know a lot of people didn't like how he started. He's a corner. There's no way he's gonna jump Terrion Arnold. That's just not happening. But he could eventually be a number 2. That's why we drafted him. So, I mean, the future is going to be Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw in the secondary for the corner position. That is the future. DJ Reed's going to hold it down. Amik Robertson, he's probably his last year here, maybe, or maybe they do the full thing. But the future is those two, and that's not bad. That's the whole point in the draft. You have players and you just draft players, they develop, and when a free agent leaves, you bring up the guy who you've developed. That's why you're seeing that's the whole point in good teams. That's what good teams do. So like that when Frank retired, it's a blow. But it's like, okay, We got to trust Brad Holmes too in these drafted players. Some players haven't worked out. Okay. But man, if you're looking at teams that know how to draft now, you're looking at the Rams, the Lions, the Eagles. You're looking at teams that are consistently replacing players. And I fully expect that. What if Ratledge doesn't work out, right? They'll get a new center next year or whatever, but Brad Holmes has this thing figured out. Let's see. The best type of Lions fan is a bald one. No offense, nothing but a compliment. Hey, it's all good, man. That's the first time I've heard it from the other way around, so that's a shocking. The best Fitz name is the Wrecking Crew. Hey, they can be wrecking people, folks. 100%. He says at hashtag FTB, hashtag TP, and the Vikings can't wait to see the 2025 Lions Unleashed. I think we're all getting excited for it, right? We got about a month to go until training camp, month and a half, and then it's on. It's on like Donkey Kong. It's so quick how an NFL offseason goes. It's so quick. We only got a month and a half, and it's going to be regular football every single day because we got the Hall of Fame game, and it just doesn't stop. And we get to see what this Lions are going to do. But I'm really, with the retirement of Frank Ragnow, I'm happy that we got another day of preseason. Okay, that is Ian Kennedy beats out Dan Jackson. What is my thoughts of this? I don't. Dan Jackson. Okay, Kennedy was looking decent, right? Bigger bodied guy out there doing a good job, but I think Dan Jackson will make the team. Maybe they both do. I'm hearing a lot. We just got to see. Look, everyone does good in practice right now in OTAs. There's a lot of people that do good in training camp. Let's watch preseason. We'll watch specifically the rookies and the young players and the undrafteds. Can they produce on the field? I have done this so many times where I've been on here and I've talked about training camp standouts, and they've never translated onto the field. So ask me in 2 months. Then I'll tell you. Who is your surprise team that will be better, worse than prognosticators? Great question, the Roman. I'm going to go with a team who I think is going to be bad is the Seattle Seahawks. Someone has said they could win the division. I think that they're going to be bad. I think that the Vikings quarterback last year, he did good for them, but I don't think he's going to do good for Seattle. I think that's going to be a team that could be way worse than expected. A team that could be better, how about the Carolina Panthers? They seem to have drafted well as of late. Bryce Young actually played decent the last 4 games last year. If he can continue to grow as a quarterback, they're drafting kind of like the Lions, and so they could be a team maybe that does a little bit better than you would expect, maybe like 8 wins this year. I don't think anybody would think them to get to 7, 8 wins. That would be kind of tough. I think Jacksonville's going to suck. I don't know what's going on with the Jaguars. I don't know what's going on with Trevor Lawrence. I think a lot of people expect him to be good, and he ends up being garbage. My first team is the Lions, and my second team is the Cowboys. You agree with me? I agree with your first team. I disagree with your last team. I actually really don't like the Dallas Cowboys. And that's because of a lot of penalties that's happened in playoff games. I remember, 2013, Lions facing the Dallas Cowboys and the infamous Pettigrew pickup flag that would result in basically the Lions winning the game, and I absolutely hate that. He says, Detroit sucks. Well, I don't know why you jumped on a Lions Talk by Chat Sports YouTube channel if you're not a Detroit sports fan. Whatever team you're a fan of, man, good for you. But, yeah, that's what this channel's all about, is about the Lions. So, Mike Kimber Super Bowl window is still open for the Detroit Lions for the first time bound Lombardi Championship trophy in the ring this season, 25 through 26. Do I believe that? They have a shot? Yeah, of course. I think they're taking a step back, though, in regards to wins and losses, right? This team, I do think now is a little bit worse than last year, losing Frank Ragnow, and the schedule's a little bit harder. With that said, it all depends on how the development of these young players have. If Tate Ratledge can develop and he's playing pretty good by the end of the year, the Lions can go on a Super Bowl run, right? It all depends on who you're playing, where you're playing, what you're playing. Again, I'm not going to go off wins and losses. I'm not going to go off of that because we were 15-2 last year and got bounced in the first round. So, is the window open? Yeah, the window's going to be open for a while. Anyone that tells you that it's not open, they're absolutely lying to you. Why is that? Look at the Lions team. We were 15-2 last year. I'm not saying we're going to go 15-2 last year, but it's a good team. Yes, you lost Frank Ragnow. You still have a good team. It's not like they've fallen off a cliff or anything. My goodness. And you got Brad Holmes and you got Dan Campbell and you got the ability to draft. You lose a player, you redraft that player. The window will always be open if you can draft. Now, if Brad Holmes starts sucking in his drafts and starts missing on some of these guys, you could lose the window. But again, if Ratledge comes in there, does well with Frank Ragnow, right? And you're consistently doing that with other players that leave, and you draft more players like Tesla. You know, we have Tim Patrick, right? But Tesla is going to be is the replacement of Tim Patrick. It's not going to happen this year, but they understood that it's going to happen next year. Right? So that's what the Lions are doing. It's constantly rotation. I think the Panthers are going to be a pushover. I don't think they're going to be a pushover. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be a pushover either. I think they'll be tough. They're not a great team, right? Like I said, like 7-8 wins at the very most. But they've been so bad for so long that would be a good season for them. Legor says, we making the Super Bowl. And I hope we making the Super Bowl. That would be epic. Losing Ben Johnson was a big blow to Detroit. The Bears gained a very talented offensive-minded coach. Yes, you are correct, and I agree with your statement. But can I do a devil's advocate on that? He may be a great-minded, offensive-minded individual. Does that make him a great head coach? I would say that is yet to be seen. I honestly believe, and I do think that Ben Johnson is a offensive mastermind, but I do think that Aaron Glenn's the better head coach. See, this is the situation. Just because you're a great offensive mind and you're intelligent, you know how to do all this stuff, it doesn't make you a good leader of men. You can have the highest IQ and they could be a terrible leader. So it's yet to be seen about him. I always talk about this, and my guy, my guy who I served in the Army with, he knows who I'm talking about, but my captain, a very high IQ individual, right? This dude literally is like a Harvard IQ captain, right? He went to officer school, very smart and intelligent individual. Patriot, who I serve with, he could tell you this. He's smart. He's not a leader of men. Not a leader of men at all. He didn't. We were doing convoys. He had no idea. He was playing by the book, like this is Call of Duty. That's just not how we're freaking out. Like, chill out, dude. So just because you're smart and you're tactical and all this type of stuff doesn't mean that you're a leader of men. Now, to the point, could it affect the Lions? Now, I think it affects the Lions more, obviously, with your comment than it does the opposite way, because we had a head coach, right? So I think our offense does take a step back. That's not necessarily a bad thing either. I really am an individual that likes to run the football. I'm an individual that likes to slow the game down. If you've been watching my channel for many, many years, I love the offensive powerhouse, but I'm a physical grinder, and I'm hoping that with Ben Johnson, the trick plays will slow down a little bit and we can get more of the grinding physical football team. That's what I would like to see in offense. Watching the Ben Johnson to preach to grit is going to be hilarious. And I hope that he doesn't, and I hope that Aaron Glenn doesn't do that. That's Dan Campbell. These guys need to be themselves. You know, this is the same thing. You like the Bill Belichick tree. You have these people trying to be Bill Belichick. No, just be yourself. Don't try to be Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell's Dan Campbell. You're not going to be. Aaron Glenn knows this. He's not going to be Dan Campbell. So don't try to be a Dan. Just try to be Ben Johnson. Try to be Aaron Glenn. Yep, Patricia was smart. That worked out well. Yeah, he was a rocket scientist. So IQ does not transition to leader of men. That's just not how it works. You all know this. Maybe you got friends out there that are really high, but they're just not, they're smart, but they're not those type of people. And it's not a bad thing, right? We're all different, but you're talking about head coach of a football team, so we'll see. What do you think about the rumors that we're trying to extend JMO right now? Those rumors are false. I don't believe them rumors. I fully expect that they're trying to extend Aiden Hutchinson right now, and I think they're going to wait on Jameson Williams after this season. I do think that they will. I'm starting to believe that they will extend him, and the reason for this is he is maturing. All reports coming out is that he's taken that next step in maturity, and that's awesome. He's 24 years old now. It just takes. What did I tell you guys? I was 20, 21. I was a moron. As you get older, you mature. The brain stops developing at 23. He's getting better, and look, his production is going to be high. He gained 5 pounds of muscle. He's showing out. If he does, they'll extend him. If he is perfectly fine, folks, he's going to get extended to Detroit. So we've been hearing all these ridiculous trade rumors that I've been saying is stupid, is utterly ridiculous, dumb, makes no sense. And it's going to be the opposite. Shout out to Mike Valenti. I watched a clip yesterday, and I'm glad he's doing this because I've been talking about it now. Maybe he's seen the video, I don't know, or he's getting the same situation that I am. We're talking about the local media and how they're getting things wrong as of late. And he explained he doesn't know where this is starting from. And I'm with him. I don't know. And I got to be on his side. He has been like this all year about these trade rumors. He's been saying it's just ridiculous. And he didn't believe the Jameson Williams one. He doesn't know where it's starting from. I don't know either. But I'm happy people are starting to call it out because we got to get this right. We can no longer, just come up with these ridiculous trade rumors that are popping up that makes no sense. And it's also going to piss off the players. You don't think Jameson Williams watches all the YouTubes? I know this for a fact, okay? So if you're sitting there, oh, you're going to get traded, you don't want to be here as a loser and all this stuff, you don't think he sees that type of stuff? So we got to be smart on this. I agree with what you're saying about Ben Johnson. Thank you, Gilbert. Yeah. But maybe he's a great leader, man. We just don't know. I'm not going to rip on him because I don't know. I don't know. But that is just the truth of the situation. My feelings, Glenn is just going to be a better one. Because I've watched Aaron Glenn. I've been to training camp. I've seen him speak. I see him talk to men. I see him that he interacts. And as a soldier, that I was a soldier, that would be the type of guy I would follow into combat. The Dan Campbell type, the Aaron Glenn type. They kind of treat you like men, right? That you're not a kid anymore. You're a man. And they treat you with that respect. They'll get on you. They'll rip on you, but they love you. That's the way it is. That's how the Army is, right? The drill sergeants will rip on you, or your NCOs will rip on you, but it's because they want you to improve. That's the whole point. Remember Quinn Trish acted like they're the smartest guys in the room. Now flashbacks to some of our offensive play calls. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but again, he could be really smart. We don't know, guys. I'm not gonna say here or there. I think he's gonna suck a little bit, but if he came out and ended up being great, But I just got that feeling of that he's gonna be one of those guys that doesn't work out too well. Holy smokes. How long am I going on here? My standing up is much better than sitting down. Oh, my God. Sorry, guys, about these lack of live streaming the last couple weeks. If you didn't know, I'm sure you did because I made videos. My back has been awful. And I'm standing right now, so I can't sit anymore. It just hurts too much. So, yeah. I'm going to get off here, though, for a little bit. I've been on for a little bit. I'm going to jump off this bad boy because my back is starting to hurt. Taking it slowly, getting back slowly. As you can see the videos, I sat yesterday, but I can't sit no more. But my back is good. Each day is just getting better and better. But what happened was is two vertebrae popped out, and they finally got it back in. It's been now 15 days. They popped the vertebrae back in. It was out for 14 days. They popped it back, or 13 days. They slowly popped it in 2 days, and I went yesterday, and it moved again, and so they put it back in. And my back is so sore, man. It's not just one, it was two, so that's what made it, jeez, the worst. Anyone that's ever had thrown a back out, man, you know what it's like. But I'm about to ice this bad boy up, relax for a little bit. If there's any breaking news or anything significant, I doubt it's going to be that. I'll make a video. But I will be going back to 2 videos a day. I just got to get this back squared away. I have to. This thing is brutal, so I have to get it back as soon as my back is squared away. I promise you all I will get back to it. I promise. Like, it's not an excuse. It is legit bad. I've been to the hospital 3 straight days, so. All right, guys. I'm